Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Are you over the age of 50 and you feel like you are alone, invisible, and forgotten? Maybe you had this idea of how your life was going to be now, and it looks nothing like that. Well, my name's Holly, and I am here to help you to get your life back on track. Um, I completely changed my life when I was 60 years old, and I did that by changing my mindset. And I am now 65 years old, and I have the best life that I have ever had, the happiest life that I have ever had, free of worrying and ruminating and anxiety and fear. And I want to help to show my viewers how I did that. If you're interested in my free guidebook, then click on the link in the description below and you can get my free guidebook, Creating a Joyful Life, and join my email list, what I refer to as the Bliss Tribe. And later at the end of the video, I will get into my new book that is out and shamelessly plug it because it is basically your 30-day roadmap to how I changed my life. Week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, what you do to completely change your life like I did. So stay to the end of the video and I will go over more about that book. And to those many of you who have bought it already, thank you. But like I said, maybe you had this idea of what your life was going to be. I think my idea of what my life was going to be was I had great grandparents that lived on a beautiful farm, the big white farmhouse. And then my grandparents also lived in the beautiful white farmhouse. They had 5 kids. All of those kids had kids. We would go to huge family get-togethers, and I just always felt like I was surrounded by this loving family when I was a kid. And my idea of my life after 50 was similar to that. Like I thought, you know, even though I only had 2 kids, well, maybe they'll have a ton of kids, and I'll have this life on the farm, having Thanksgiving dinner and everything. And my life has not turned out anything like that. And honestly, probably cooking a whole Thanksgiving dinner might stress me out. But thankfully, my kids do have that with their father and their stepmother. They live out in the country and in a beautiful home and have a pond, and she loves to host people, and they're even kind enough to invite me. And they do have that with them. But for a while in my 50s, I just felt very much kind of alone and just like I was lost and didn't know where to go with my life, just because it wasn't turning out to be the life that I had imagined. And I think a lot of us baby boomers especially kind of imagine a life like that. We grew up with, a lot of us with lots of extended family, and I still have a lot of extended family. But do I really have an interest in having them all over to my home and, having the big dinners and everything? I have to say no, that I don't. But that left me with, what do I do with my life now? What do I do now that I'm alone, living alone? And I think as we get older, we become kind of pickier about our friends and who we hang out with. And I just felt like I was really lost and didn't know where to go with my life. But I also think that women especially completely lose their sense of self. Like all of the focus is on the kids, is on the husband, the family. Maybe we start taking care of elderly parents, and we completely take the focus off of ourselves. So then when we're left like alone and have time to focus on ourselves, we don't even know what to do with that time. I think I spent a lot of my 50s looking outside myself for fulfillment, looking for a man to complete my life, probably desperately looking for someone to complete my life. And there's no bigger turnoff to someone than someone that's desperate to be in a relationship. But what I didn't realize was that everything that I needed to be happy and to have a fulfilling life was inside. No one could have told me that. I mean, I was so focused outside myself, focused on my adult children, focused on trying to get into a relationship, focused on the issues that I had with my narcissistic mother. And it wasn't until I was in my late 50s that I started watching Bob Proctor videos and things started to click. And this was the beginning of the change in my life and to getting my life back. I started to do what Bob Proctor refers to as changing my paradigm. And that is changing my mindset and how I looked at my life. I slowly took the steps to start focusing on things like gratitude. I started doing EFT tapping, emotional freedom technique tapping, and started to practice meditation. And slowly, little by little, I started to bring my focus back to myself. And through this process, eventually found the sense of purpose that I have here on YouTube, helping other people change their lives too. And I was like probably 57 or 58. I dated this guy from New York City, and he was a musician, and he composed music, and he was so into that. Like, he could spend an entire weekend locked up in his apartment composing music, and he loved it. And after we broke up, I remember thinking to myself, wow, I wish, I would love to have something in my life that just consumed me that much. And I have found that with YouTube and with learning how to do YouTube and focusing on helping other people and realizing that my purpose, my true purpose, I really believe is in helping other people that are older to change their lives. And if you start down this road of transformation, of changing your mindset, of focusing on gratitude, being aware of your negative thoughts and redirecting them, and you take these small steps. And like I said, I go over these steps in my book. You can also watch all of my videos. But once you start down this road of transformation, you will end up finding that purpose. But first, you've got to take that focus back to self and back to living in the now. Because as we get older, we just start to focus more and more and more on the past and on, like I said in my last video, I sent out an email with a questionnaire about what is your biggest roadblock to moving forward? What is your biggest pain point in life? And so many people said it was fear, it was guilt and regret over the past, and loneliness. And so many of these things are just based on not letting go of the past. I highly suggest watching my video, How to Let Go of a Painful Past. But what changing my mindset did and focusing on the positive and focusing on gratitude did was it brought back that sense of self-worth and that sense of purpose, which I had lost completely because I was so busy focusing outside myself. And know that if you are focusing outside yourself, whether it's worrying about your adult children, whether it's, worrying about what your spouse is doing, if it's worried about the state of the world, then you are on the wrong track to changing your life. Once you bring that focus back to self, you won't believe how freeing it is. Like, I'll start down a path of, oh, I'm going to worry about one of my adult children. Something's going on over here and I might want to worry about that. But as soon as I think, oh, I'm really excited about my new book, or I'm really excited about my next video. As soon as I bring that focus back to me and what I want to do, I can't even tell you the huge sense of relief that I feel, that I do not have to spend my life worrying. I don't, because you know what? It doesn't change anything. I have people reach out to me every day, usually through email, like, I'm going through this, like, I'm going through, my adult child is a drug addict and won't go to rehab. um, I had a lovely man reach out in a comment who wrote this really beautiful comment about how he was sitting in his apartment alone in France and it was raining outside, and his wife had divorced him a year before that, and he no longer had access to his dog, and he was just feeling very sad and lonely. But I don't think he realized, and a couple other people commented on this, was how beautifully written it was. And I responded, several people responded to his comment, but I responded with, you are left with two choices here. And it's always the same two choices, whether it's your adult child is a drug addict or an alcoholic, or whether your spouse left you. You have two choices: to let yourself feel the pain and then move forward, or to feel that pain and let that pain take over your life and no longer focus on yourself ever again. I hope that people will choose to feel the pain and then move forward, because once you are stuck and can't get out of that grief mode, then you can be stuck there for life. And I truly feel that life is for the living, and that the key to being able to move on and have a joyful life is by feeling the grief and feeling the pain and then letting go of it and bringing the focus back to, what do I want to do with my life now? Which is what I really hope that nice man does. I hope he makes that choice too. He could probably write a book, because his comment was really written beautifully. So I hope that he starts to take his life back. And if he has love to give to a dog, I hope he goes out and adopts one of the many dogs out there that needs a home. Like I said, it's always just about making two choices: either being stuck with whatever the problem is in your life, or deciding to feel the pain of it, let it go, and move on to something new in your life. I truly believe, if you found this video, that you found it because you are looking on YouTube for some way of changing your life, and that you're not happy with the way that your life is going right now. I truly believe that my purpose is to help people to change their lives. I can't change your life for you, but if you are willing to take the steps that I lay out in my videos and in my new book, then you will change your life. So if you're unhappy with the direction of your life, if you are totally focusing outside yourself for happiness, then you come to the right place, because my whole purpose is to show you how your happy life already exists, and it exists within you. And you don't need anything else to change in your life. I'm not here to tell you how to change your adult child, how to change your spouse. I'm here to show you that you can be happy right now in the life that you have. I'm not going to talk about manifesting a new house or manifesting $1 million. I'm going to talk about the life that you have right now, and how you can have a happy and joyful life right now, and how having a happy and joyful life and bringing the focus back to self and bringing the focus back to now will lead you to find your purpose like it did me. And like I said, if you want to watch all of my videos to learn how I do this or how I did this, then that is wonderful. But if you want a very condensed step by step, week 1 you do this, week 2 you do this, week 3 you do this, week 4 you do this, 30 days to transform your life, then I encourage you to buy my book, The Bliss Tribe. It's only $12.99. And if you buy it and it doesn't change your life, I will give you your $12.99 back. And I don't care if you take the book and you share it with all your friends. I don't care if you take the book and you share it with your book club. It's not about the $12.99. It's about offering this to people because it is a step-by-step guide for you to change your life and for you to start to bring that focus back to self and bring that focus back to the positive. So the link is in the description for that book. I also have my free guidebook, which is a good start. And if you'd like to just support my channel, then you can buy me a coffee. But you know what? I'd rather have you, instead of spending $5 on buy me a coffee, which a lot of people do, and I really appreciate it. I'd rather have you take that $5 and put it towards, add a little bit more to it and put it towards the book, because that will get you something. So I hope this video was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in my next one. A lot of people expressed that fear was the number one factor in preventing them from moving forward. And so I'm going to link the video that I did on fear here so that if you want to watch that, you can. And I would also love it if you would take just a few seconds to comment below about what is the number one thing holding you back to having a happy life. So I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thank you and bye-bye.